This is about 2-minute notification, so I wasn't really prepared to give a big speech or anything. So just a couple things. I'll just talk a little bit about the second district to start off with. As was mentioned, Scott did a fantastic job, and with everybody that was involved with Hendersonville. This is the second year, and in 2 years, I think in 2 years' time, the second district has added 3 new locals, and this year we were able to get Guilford County professional firefighters organized, which was a big highlight of our year. A couple of other highlights in the second district. We did some internal organizing in Salisbury, which went really well. We signed up some new members in Salisbury, had a really good internal organizing effort there. One of the personal highlights for me, about a year ago, and I wished he was here, I really wished he was here, but Dave Coker from Greensboro and I started discussing, and Dave really spearheaded all this. I can't take credit for all the work that Coker did. But we really started spearheading an effort to get the international to recognize cancer as a line of duty death in the state of North Carolina. In the past, because we don't have a presumptive cancer bill, the state of North Carolina has not been recognized, cancer has not been recognized as a line of duty death. So after some petitioning with the IFF, we were able to get them to recognize that. And along with that, we were able to get 3 cancer line of duty deaths introduced and recognized. All 3 of them just happened to be in the second district. So I had the opportunity and the privilege and the honor of escorting 3 families to Colorado Springs, Colorado this year for the memorial service. I had never been. I'd watched it online multiple times. It's an experience that you have to go and be there for yourself to really witness it and to understand the full effects of it. But last night I shared a little bit in the president's meeting. One of the things that really hit home for me the most about it. One of the families, and I think it was one of the family members from Kernersville, Dave Davenport from Kernersville's family was there, and for those of you who remember, Dave Davenport was an absolutely incredible union guy, an incredible man, period. But and if you don't know his family, for those of you who remember Dave, if you've never met, I'd never met his brother before. And when I saw his brother for the first time, it was like a ghost had walked in the room, because his brother's a spitting image of him. And I think it was his brother, or it may have been Lisa, somebody came up to me and said, even though Dave had been gone for several years now, when we lost Dave, she said, or his brother said, this is the one thing that they needed for closure. And I thought that really hit home for me. That hit heavy to me. So it was a great experience. We had, like I said, we had several ups and downs in the district, as every other year. Just as recent as a few weeks ago, Eaton called me, President Powell back there called me, and as most of you probably heard or saw on Facebook or heard about through the grapevine or whatever, he basically called me and said, one of our guys just fell out of a heart attack on the scene pumping a fire truck. Guys did CPR, they got him back, he's being transported to the hospital. I hung up with Joe. I found out he was going to Moses Cone. Again, I called President Coker from Greensboro. President Coker dropped everything that he was doing. He was at the hospital before the ambulance ever reached Moses Cone. So we had resources on the ground before they even got there. Local 947, as always, stepped up huge, provided meals for the family, just as they always do. I guess I say all that just to say, so many things happen. Obviously, a couple of years ago, we had a huge blow with with a huge fire in Greensboro that sent guys to the hospital, and then turned right around the next week and lost Todd Martinez from High Point. We deal with these highs and lows, but one thing that remains a constant in all this is the brotherhood, because I know when the guy from Greensboro went down, we had resources, at the hospital. It was the same way just a couple weeks ago here with Eden. So that network that we have and that brotherhood, you don't really see that anywhere more evident or more prevalent than with this organization. So it's one of the things I'm really proud of, and I'm really proud to be able to get up here and report things like that happening. Do you mind if I share, Joe, do you mind if I share the fact with your chief?
You just did. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Good. But no, I mean, I know Joe shared with me last night. I think sometimes we get really caught up in the department. And the reason I say that about the brotherhood, fire chief hasn't even went by to see the guy that went down in Eden. So but yet the locals taking care of it. So I'm really proud of that. Moving off the second district, I just want to say real fast, and I know they're coming up to speak, so I'm not going to take any more of your time, but I will say that just from a legislative standpoint, it was an extremely interesting year, to say the least. I don't want to get into all the specifics on the legislative stuff, because you're going to get plenty of that. So, but I will say we started working with New Frame back at the beginning of the year. Our lobbying firm, these guys have opened up a tremendous amount of doors for us. They've given us opportunities that we've never had in the past to really get to know a lot of legislatures very well. And I'm really appreciative of a lot of the stuff that they did. They were instrumental. They do so much behind the scenes work that you guys just never hear or know. That it's a lot of times it's not, we look at stuff a lot of times by wins and losses, and we gauge our success by that. One thing I've learned a lot, especially over the past year, is with the legislative work, you're not going to get an immediate win and loss like you think you are. I know a lot of us, we like I said, we kind of gauge our success by that, and we would love to stand up here and say we passed 5 bills this year, and we everybody got. But if you do a lot of work within your own city, sometimes it takes years just to get the raises that you want, or to get the benefits that you want, or anything else. You can only imagine what it's like. I mean, make no bones about it. These guys can't even get along with themselves in Raleigh. They don't even like each other within their own party. I mean, you look at the representative side, the House side, and Senate side, they can't even get along within their own party. So it's really difficult when you go in there asking for things. And so I just want to say that, working with New Frame was a pleasure. I enjoyed my time working with them. We did get a lot accomplished. House Bill 666 obviously stalled a little bit. We're not done by no means with it. We don't quit. We're not going to quit. We're going to get bills passed. Like I said, sometimes it's just a matter of being a little bit patient and giving some time. And we sort of had a late start with everything. With the session starting as early as it did in January, it took us a little while to get these guys hired, to get our foot in the door in a lot of different places. Like I said, I appreciate these guys, and we tried to send out as many legislative updates to keep everybody updated as much as we could on what was going on. Sometimes that's really difficult to do. These guys have been great about giving updates, if you haven't had a chance yet, I hope everybody picked up a copy of the Blaze, the newsletter for the legislative stuff. And we're going to stay engaged, and and these guys are definitely a reason for that. So again, I'll let these guys do a little more talking about that later. So that's about it for me. I'll introduce our next speaker, Keith Wilder, 3rd District Vice President. Come up and give your report. Glad you had at least 5 more minutes to prepare than I did. So come on up.